Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hopefully, is this mic working? Yep, it's working. Okay. Um, Sorry about that. Uh, okay, I'm trying out a new lighting position. Hopefully, I think it's going to wash me out. Crap. Okay. Hopefully, it's not too bad. Don't make me too ugly as we do this time. So, how have you all been? Let's see, we got 3 people in here already chatting and with us, 3 likes. Okay. Might be a slow night, which is all right. So, a few quick things before we do get started for anyone watching this live or on the replay. Anytime we are live, if you have a question and for some reason it's getting skipped over or missed, you are able to do a super chat where you make a small donation. It flashes it up real big on the screen, which does make sure I see it because the live chat will prioritize it and won't let me miss it, which is a good thing. Hello, Purified. We're used to the ghost mage. Oh, the irony is in real life, I'm not as pale as I look on camera, which is kind of funny. Which the only proof to that I have is, you can see my tan line somewhat on my wrist where I wear my watch. Velen, welcome. Welcome. Good evening to you as well. Purified, for Luna, Barnoldus, and Jade, good to see y'all. Also, from last week, if an admin or moderator within the chat channel asks you not to spam, please listen to them kindly. They do actually have the ability to remove your post and or just silence you for the chat if you get unruly. So please do listen to them. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we got a lot of people joining up with us here. Okay. Nova, good evening. Anika, good to see you again. Awesome. So many of you actually did enjoy the video that we had coming out on Tuesday. Apparently the Goetia Spirit series is still a big popular one, which I'm not too surprised. We have a lot of requests on the Goetic Spirits. So I'm going to go ahead and reiterate this because every week I get this question. Everyone wants to list their favorite Goetic Spirit and ask me to do that video next. By all means, let us know what your favorite Goetic Spirit is. We love to share what our favorite entities is, no matter whether it's angel, demon, deity, it doesn't matter. So, but when it comes to the Goetic Spirit series, we are doing them in numeric order as listed within the Goetia. So, just look up your favorite spirit's number and you'll know where it will be. But I do encourage you to follow the whole series and learn about them because these are 72 amazing entities that can really help you in your practice. So there's no reason to limit yourself to but one. It's kind of like limiting yourself to one pizza. That just gets boring. So, Sam, hello. Welcome. Glad you can make it. Hello from Knoxville Airport. Hey, Bornoldas. I'll be honest, Knoxville Airport, not the worst one to be in, mate. Hope you have a safe flight whenever your flight gets there. Hopefully you won't be waiting around too long. But hopefully you'll have time to enjoy the stream as well. Let's see. Hassan, hi, I want to make a bargain with the devil. I saw one of your videos, but it was long. So can you tell me specifically what it can do? If you don't have the patience or the time to watch that video, you're not going to be able to do it. Pact work is advanced magic, and it's advanced magic based on advanced magic. So you would have to fully master evocation, and you'd have to fully have a full, reliable control and development of all your arcane senses, especially arcane sight and arcane hearing. And you'd have to have a full understanding of trance and meditation work and energy work to even have the ability to contact an entity at the level in which you could actually get to know the entity, understand the entity, build a relationship with the entity long before they'd ever make a pact with you. Also, pacts are not genie's lamps. They do not grant wishes. If that's what you're after, you're wasting your time. You will still have to do work in any form of magic that you do. So you will have a lot of work to do. You need to focus on your arcane senses. You need to work on your meditation skills. And when I say arcane senses, you need to really, really, really master arcane sight and arcane hearing. From there, you need to be able to work on your focus and your discipline, because during an evocation, your focus cannot waver. If it wavers, you'll interrupt the evocation. And then you need to begin working on evocation, and you need to be able to reliably, I'd say 90% of the time, to be able to complete an evocation ritual at full evocation. None of this astral evocation, none of that. You need full evocation so that you can have a real-time conversation with these entities. And you're not selling your soul no matter what. The soul is worthless in the multiverse. It has no value at all. They don't want it. Honestly, yeah, it has no value at all. So think of any type of bargain as a contract where you are going to have to do your work. They're not going to do it for you. If you think they're going to do it for you, no. And if you don't do your part, they're not going to do their part in the story. Too many people think these bargains are like that you see in Hollywood and in the movies. And it's like, oh, if you do this for me. No, they're not going to grant a wish for you. Sorry. That is the reason I did those videos, and that video series was to dispel the Hollywood myths around those bargains. But pact work can be a very valuable tool in your toolbox. But in all honesty, by the time you're able to do it, you can probably manifest 90% of anything most people would ask for a pact work for with just evocation and spell work. So there's rarely any use for it. Let's see here. Oh, Ms. Wheats, welcome. Ms. Wheats, good to see you. So what we got here, question, what has been your worst / most disliked summoning ritual you've done? That's a fair question, actually. Disliked, worst. It's interesting because I'd have to say it was a ritual during my Cliffothic workings, and we were definitely dealing with fears and traumas at that particular stage in the game, and deconstructing the self in order to construct the self in a form of healing, which is harsh and painful to say the very least. But there's no way to prepare for what they're going to throw at you. So I don't want to say which sphere I was in or which Cliffothic ruler I was working with, but because we all have different experiences, and I don't want to set up a precept or an expectation. But that one was it, not because the entity itself, because I've worked with the entity and me get along great. It was just that particular evocation and the method of learning, and the way the Cliffoth works in general was an extremely intense, very uncomfortable, and yeah, it left me in a state where probably for a good 2-3 weeks, I was jumping at sounds for a while. I won't lie, but it wasn't fear of magic or anything like that. It's hard to explain, but that would be the one I disliked the most. But at the same time, it worked exactly as intended, so can't complain in the long run. Hassan, I'm Egyptian, just not very good. I understand that, Hassan, but I understand that. I understand that. And my Southern twang probably don't help much either, so I do apologize on that as well. But I do try. And I just want to make sure we are on the same page here, because I got a lot of people email me daily, and they want to use that pact work. They don't even want to study magic. They just want to make a deal and live the easy life. They think it's a no work kind of concept. Wah. Hey, Wah. Do you think soul walk-ins is possible? Actually and truly, soul walk-ins are not possible. Because to walk in requires it is possible for, let's say you're doing soul travel, so essentially your body's vacant. Let's say this as an example. Would it be theoretically possible for an entity to walk into an empty vessel? Yes. Could it take control of the vessel? No, because the vessel still has a soul that it belongs to, and therefore it cannot. And the moment the soul wishes to return, it will eject anything else that's in the vessel, plain and simple. So imagine having a bucket of water and dropping a weight into it. So if you have an empty bucket and you have let's say a 10-pound weight that perfectly fits inside that bucket, airtight, and you pour enough water to fill that bucket up. Well, when you drop that weight in, that water gets ejected. The weight goes straight back in, takes its position. There's a lot of horror stories around this concept. And it's built off the Hollywood example of possession and all these other things. And it's just not possible in the methods in which they talk about it. That's just the simple facts on it. There is theories that should an individual have enough strength of will to actually combat the other soul, to potentially gain control of the vessel, maintain control of the vessel long enough that their permanent tether or anchor shifts from that vessel to another, then it might be theoretically possible. But this would take more than 7 weeks' time for the aggressor, and the aggressor would have to not break or waver focus for even a nanosecond to manage that. Newsflash, the human mind cannot maintain that kind of focus concentration at all before it fatigues and falls asleep. So, no, not possible. If all you're doing is writing on that paper and burning it, nothing's going to happen. You cannot actually do pact work without evocation. There's a lot of people who want to claim petition magic as pact work. It's not. It is not. Because you have no way of knowing if the entity even knows what you're doing. They may not even know you're writing it, and they may not even take whatever deal you write down. You have no way of knowing. So if you are not able to contact, evoke the entity, and have a real-time conversation with them and discuss it, then yeah, no. Purified, I'm not even seeing your question on there, mate. I scroll back up, I see to where you say hello, but that's all I saw. Depending on what the question is and the wording used in it, YouTube may have blocked it, mate. Let's see. Your holy existence. Just want to stop by and thank you, Drake, for everything you do. You're the man. Oh, appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. Mugs up to you, Your Holiness. Or Holy Experience. Guess you're not Your Holiness. Wrong person. Sorry. Your Holy Experience. Mugs up to you. Oh, no problem. What? Oh, purified. Yeah, the 7 deadly sins. It's not showing deleted, but message me privately on Discord with the question, mate. I'll check it out. Because YouTube has been removing comments. They've been removing, they've been blocking questions in the feed that they're viewing as over 18s. but they're not blocking anything that would cross the line. So that's understandable. Oh, you don't mean the seven deadly sins. You mean the seven deadly sin ritual. Okay. Um, okay, first off, you have to understand there is the seven deadly sin ritual, and then there's these little candy ass versions that people are trying to pass off for it. The problem is you do actually have people who have what is essentially half of that ritual. And it is a ritual that is part of a closed practice, and because of that, the entirety of the ritual, the process, and everything is not published. I've never found any place where it's actually published in its completion. And I'm trying to find a good way to answer this with. It essentially calls up, manifest into a physical manifestation, egregorical style entity, all your trauma, all your fear. It gives embodiment to your shadow self. When we talk about shadow work and how hard it is, and a lot of people have trouble just struggling with general shadow work. So imagine giving it a physical manifestation of sorts, where you're actually going to have to confront it. And you're not done with the ritual until you can actually defeat it. And this has actually caused physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional harm to a person during it if they don't know what they're doing. And most of the people get to the point where they can manifest it, but they're not ready for what's actually about to happen because they think they're just manifesting it out of them as a healing process and they're done. No. And for those people watching this, and it's like, well, that's not exactly. I'm summarizing this, and I'm summarizing it for a reason. So for those people who are wandering around doing this challenge, don't do it. Don't do it. And honestly, we've had a lot of issues with this ritual and people already getting hurt this year with this ritual. So it's possible one of my admin may have deleted the question just to avoid it altogether. And that's totally legit. I don't blame them for doing that. Let's see here. What we got? We're too spicy for you. Do you think it's possible for someone to create and or manifest their own entities into existence, say create their own pantheon? And would you say it's more of a channeling or a conjuration? Okay. No, I don't. And here's why. There is a very, very, very massive difference between an entity and a thought form or an egregore. The most powerful egregore you're going to encounter is still galaxies and galaxies away from even being on par with the most minute of entity that would be viewed as anything of power, much less full divine. So no, you could create an egregore, and if you wanted to worship your own creation, that's your own business. But in power, scale, abilities, no. An egregore or a thought form can never do anything you yourself cannot do. It is literally limited by your power. So you cannot manifest a pantheon because pantheon actually suggests divinity. So no, you cannot individually or personally manifest a pantheon of real entities because of that. Now, could you create a grouping of egregores, call it a pantheon, and worship it? Yes. Why you would do it, I don't know, because anything they can do, you're actually going to be able to do it better because you are their source of energy. So, you see what I'm saying? So your holy existence. Don't forget to like the. Oh yeah, be sure to hit the thumbs up, peep. Thank you, your holy existence. Yeah, give us a thumbs up. Let YouTube know you like the work we're doing. That way, they show it to more people. more people can find the channel, and we can hopefully help more seekers find their path, whatever that path may be. So that would be wonderful. Peachy, good to see you. Everybody say hi, Peachy. She has been away for a little over a week now, I think it is, because she's down in Louisiana and they were without power for a little while. She spent most of her time focused on getting other people up and running before herself, which is very saintly of her. And mugs up to you, Peachy, for looking out for your community. Good work. But she has got her power up and running, and she is back with us. And we are glad to have her back and around. Nova, that's actually a good question. Honestly and truly, there is no singular one deity that you should be looking for. I actually encourage people to do research on different pantheons or different lore that they're interested in and find an entity that actually interests them. Because you can actually begin use that. I mean, if you we actually have a video on finding a entity or deity to work with here on this channel that can go into this process in a bit more detail, Nova, and I do recommend you work it out. But you don't have to wait for an entity to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you want to talk? No, you don't have to. And even if they tap you on the shoulder, you don't have to work with them. You can be like, sorry, you're not my cup of tea. I've done that with more than a few entities. Raw comes to mind. Me and Raw don't get along. We can work together, but as far as long-term practice and friendship, him and I is just never going to share a cup of coffee together. We're not. That's just, we clash. Some of you who's in Discord and knows me better, you know what I'm talking about. I won't go into details here. But you can just walk up and start talking with entities in meditation. A great way to do it is when you start your practice, start focusing on meditation. Meditation will always be foundational. I know it sounds boring, but it is foundational. You need it, and it literally helps in every form of magic, period. And then I would highly recommend designing and building and constructing what's known as an arcane sanctum. We also have a video on that, because in that arcane sanctum, you can actually sit, meditate, even call onto an entity, and they will come to speak with you in your arcane sanctum very, very, very easily. And you can actually sit down and chat with them the way you would a new friend. Say you bumped into somebody at a picnic or something. You don't know them. They're nice. You share an interest. You sit down. You sipping your cola or your Coca-Cola, whatever you're wanting to drink. Maybe you're just ice water. And you're chatting. You're getting to know them one-on-one personally. And that is honestly the best way to find the entities that you want to work with. You do not have to worship anything also to walk a path. Me, I don't. I don't worship anything. I work with entities. I view them as my equals. I view them as my allies and my friends, but I do not worship them. My knee bends for no one. So, but there's nothing wrong with worship if that is your thing. It works for a lot of people, and I understand it. There's a lot of advantage to that if your personality works in that direction. But my advice is to do your research and find an entity that interests you, and then work on talking with it directly to see if you and them can get along and if that might be what you're looking for in an entity. But go check out that video after the stream. It should be on how to find a deity or an entity to work with. Lexidus, how would you determine? Honestly, it's not that difficult. First off, egregores have very, very telltale signs of them. But the easy way I found out is, for example, I know the Dragon's Flame ritual, when it cleanses an area of anything that's not allowed, if there's an egregore there, it'll disintegrate it. Bye. Poof, be gone. No effort needed. And I've seen the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram do the same thing, though I've not got as much experience with it. So most of the egregores and thought forms I've seen it just poof be gone. Um, weren't really that strong to begin with. But considering the general energy structure of the two rituals, I would extrapolate a similar thing. So I would think the lesser banishing ritual would do that. In fact, its general design is actually to banish out a lot of astral nasties and energetic nasties, and prepare your space and you for rituals. So only what you're working with is there. So it should do the same thing or similar. I mean, you do have a greater version of it later in ceremonial magic, so maybe that would be what it would take. Um, but I know the Dragon's Flame ritual, the base one that we have a video on, if it's an egregore, it won't be standing there if you do it right. And also with time and experience, if you spend enough time working with like entities, like whether it be angels, demons, deities, any of these entities of any kind of real knowledge and power, the second an egregore steps up to you to present itself as one of these, you're going to know it's lying. It's like if it's so easy to tell. It's like if I told you I had a macaw parrot, a live macaw parrot, and it talks to me, and I've trained it to talk, and I held this up. Don't take you 2 seconds to know I'm lying, does it? That don't look real at all. It's cute. My daughter got it for me, but it's not real. And when you've spent the time around them, it's that easy to spot them immediately. You'll know. Let's see. Okay. So this week, for my research, actually, I have been working a little bit more with the Cliffoth. I'm actually getting ready to move on to the next Cliffothic sphere and ruler. So excited about that next journey. Woohoo! Also, this week, I actually started a new workout regiment, which Freya is helping me with. And Freya is definitely a drill sergeant butt kicker when it comes to this, but it's what I need. I tried a workout that I won't lie, this particular workout actually, I did it after a surgery I had, which was a dumb idea. I'm not going to lie, that was a dumb idea. I was fully healed, but still hadn't fully recuperated, if that makes sense. The workout kicked my tail and I was stuck laying in the floor for an hour. So, tried it today because I'm stubborn. I want to know what I'm doing, Kicked my butt, gave me a benchmark, but I wasn't stuck in the floor. So, I'll call that progress. Definitely still need to work up to that workout. I always like to do workouts that are outside my general view because I like to use workouts I normally can't do as a benchmark of something to work up to. So that one is definitely one that I will be working up to. I got a few messages this week asking me about how I'd been eating and how my research for that had gone that I'd been doing the vlogs on. It went really, really well. Got a lot of awesome data. And yes, I will definitely be doing a lot of that as I continue to work out and get back in shape. And Freya will be helping with all that. Let's see. CSA, hello. CSA, can I remotely influence physical phenomena quickly with magic? Depends on what you mean by that statement. Do you mean can you stop a bullet? No. Do you mean can you redirect lightning? No. Do you mean can you stop a building from falling? No. So it depends on what you're asking when you say physical phenomenon. There's a lot of physical phenomenons, and it also depends on what you mean by quickly. Quickly could mean instantaneous. Quickly could be a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, a week. Some people would view quickly as a month. I personally wouldn't, but quickly is relative. So it really depends on what you're meaning by this statement, SCA. Insane what's weirdos and magic people. Is that supposed to be what's up weirdos and magic people? Because I will happily say I'm a weirdo. And well, clearly I'm a magic person. Nope, can't stop a bullet. Sorry. Let's see. So that has been going. It has been a busy week because I've been doing that side of my research, working with Freya, getting back in touch. Freya's been pestering me saying I need a new cat. I don't think I need a new cat. Um, but our workouts have been quite amazing, personally speaking. I have enjoyed it. And getting back on track and getting off of experimenting with food and getting to what I know boosts my energy and stuff is going to be amazing. Um, so I'm looking forward to having that energy back. My wife, she's iffy. There's pros and cons to me having energy. One of the cons though is I tend to get really hyper and bugger. So she's just going to have to deal with an extremely hyper Drake all the time in the story. But I'm okay with that. Hopefully she's okay with that. Use some cat ears to fix the problem. Here we go. We'll just stick cat ears on all the admin in Working Dragon Mystic and tell Freya that's my cats. Let's see. Let's see. I stand by my previous statement. Speech to text doesn't screw up anything. Milton. Thumbs up to you. I'm a big believer it's good to be weird. Normal's boring. Let's see. Purified. Why does magic break technology? And if I remember correctly, the goblins tinker with technology and have created some tech for the Fae. So I'm guessing that human tech can also go past the boundaries where magic doesn't break it. Well, okay, this is kind of a two-parter, Purified. First off, the reason magic affects technology is magic is working with energy, and energetic fields do scramble technology. So it's less of a problem these days, but there was a point, maybe 10 years ago, you could take a crystal, set it on a computer or a laptop, and the memory drives were so sensitive to any form of energetic or magnetic field, it would screw up your memory. It would erase the computer. You could set it on a floppy disk, and it would erase it. So energy fields do have an effect on technology because technology works on energy, and energy can create magnetization if the situations are correct. And when we're talking about magic, we are talking about positive and negative pulls and pushing and pulling of energy. So it is that energetic field that is essentially affecting magic. Strong energetic fields affect technology. That's why we put insulation around a lot of tech rooms and server rooms and the like. Now, you ask about goblins. Goblins are only one of many, many tinkerers throughout the realms. But the Fae absolutely do adore our technology more for fun, not for necessity. But it's not the technology they've adapted. You see, the Fae actually work with magic at such a level that they are so in tune with it and balanced with it, they don't actually radiate an energetic field the way we do. We put off an energetic field almost like a radiation. We actually exude energy around us. Even when manipulating magic, it's so natural for a Fae, they don't have that energetic output. It's such a natural phenomenon to them, and therefore, no output, no external energy field, nothing to affect the technology itself. Um, Now, here's a cool thing though, and I've mentioned this before. There are people out there that are easily referred to as techno witches. They have managed to do magic in cyberspace and other things. There are even witches that they can essentially walk over to a computer, look at it, and you can have the Geek Squad working on it for a week. They can get the thing running for no reason. So we do know that there is at least some phenomenon that will allow us to be around technology without screwing it up. And these techno witches are actually probably the biggest proponents. It's to understand. The big trick now is to understand what separates the techno witches from the other individuals. Most people's like, well, techno witches don't really get that far deep into real magic, and because of that, their energetic field's not that high. Okay, you elitist prick. That's not true. I know techno witches that can outclass many ceremonial magicians I know, energetically and through manifestation. So once you step outside that elitist snobbery, clearly that's not the answer. So we do need to pursue that understanding. And there's a lot of magicians out there that are researching that. And I have been keeping track with at least 15 of them now. And I have a little bit of research in those areas. Mine have all been unsuccessful. Everything I've tried has been very unsuccessful. But for example, my wife is actually one of these individuals, extremely powerful when it comes to magic, does not screw up technology. Me, I screw up technology. I've killed probably 8 microwaves in the last 10 years. So it is possible. It's just something humans at this time in our knowledge of magic does not have an understanding of. And there are people researching it. And hopefully, very soon, because I'm getting tired of buying new electronics, we will know the answer to that and we'll be able to early on train in the beginning of a path how to balance out your energy not to affect your electronics. But yeah, it's that energetic field. That's the reason some things hold up better than others. See, Born's fine with it. Yeah, Born's pretty chill in most things. KRY, hey, good to see you. So yeah, I mean it's one of those things I would like to figure out more on the technology side of magic, because again, I'm tired of breaking things. I'm tired of frying them. But it is a problem, and I'm not the only one that has it. I know people who um, they try not to even buy cars that have more computer. They try to buy the lower end of the car without all the extras. So there's people who are even worse at it than me. But luckily, I've at least found a foam brand that I don't fry. Let's see. Not a bad night tonight. If you're here, do hit that like button. Give us a thumbs up. We got a few people here, only 14 likes. It's been a slow night. Give us some likes. Let YouTube know you like us. So, all right. Anime Geek. Hello. Good to see you. So, but yeah, hopefully we'll be able to talk a bit more about the Clifothic research I've been doing in the future because that's really ramping up. We did just release the Mabon video, which a lot of you liked, and I'm still getting comments on. Thank you very much. Yes, we will be doing a Samhain video similar. And for those who are wondering about Dragon Sabbath videos, I will start that series, but I want to finish the current series we're on before I start that series. So that series should start next year. So I apologize, but we've got so many things that are just piling up to get going, and I can only produce so many videos a week and maintain anything that resembles a life that I got to pace myself. In fact, starting the other channel with my daughter is something I'm doing for fun. You watch those videos, you can see they're a lot less production heavy. It's something I can knock out real fast. It's something me and her talk about. We joke about. It's something It's actually something social that I'm doing with my daughter to enjoy it. Um, and we are still filming classes for the school, so I am doing my best. Now, someone asked me once I get the school built up and all the classes that I'm really wanting to get on there filmed up, would I consider doing more videos a week for this channel? I would consider it. Many of you know when I have free time and I have a random thought, I've been known to shoot a vlog and post that on a Thursday. Well, I still plan to, if I have a random thought or something I feel the need to talk about at random that won't really fit in the category of a real video, I'll continue the vlogs. Some of you have suggested I do the vlog style for my main videos because y'all seem to like that style. And I am thinking about giving it a shot and seeing how it flows. I don't know. I'm a creature of habit, so I don't know how well I could transition to that. But if y'all do prefer that styling, I might look into it. Let's see. Alexidus, how do you feel about technomancy, tech-related magic? I would say using a digital workspace, a blog, a video game world, or Word doc on a computer as a digital altar. What pros and cons? Actually, I have no issues with it. Again, I know a lot of techno witches. One of the better ones I know, her name is Jinx. She's a um, wonderful, wonderful young lady, and she does a lot of this. In fact, there's a it's not something I've ever tinkered with, but there's a platform. I don't know if it's a game, a platform called Second Life, where you can essentially construct a house, and it's got all these things you can do. She showed it to me on her laptop. You can create your own little avatar, and she goes in and she does a lot of that. So, due to her living conditions at one point, she got involved in that, and she literally constructed her ritual room and everything on this. And she was using that for her rituals and all this. And she did it in different ways. She had different methods that she's talked through, and I've seen great results utilizing these methods. This is why techno witches are a thing. And I've seen many of these techno witches yield amazing results. And I would have to say, Lexidus, that my opinion toward a techno witch is the same opinion I have toward any magical practitioner. If it's working for you, if it's yielding results, and you're living the life you want to live and manifesting the results you want to live, hey, mugs up to you. Keep rocking it. Keep walking that path. Because at the end of the day, your path and your results, that's all that matters. My opinion does not. Me, I would love the ability to set up a digital like ritual room or something that I could just fold my laptop up and take it with me wherever I'm going. I would freaking love that. Tried that once. We never got that laptop to work again. So for me, not really at this time a functional option. But I view that concept as a digital version of an astral sanctum, just as functional, just as real, and just as handy. I can't fry my astral sanctum, so I tend to use that more. But yeah, I think it's actually a great tool. And I'm glad there's more people out there researching that direction of magic and how they can implement it. And I'm actually glad to see we got more techno witches on the rise. Purified, to the best of my knowledge, the way the multiverse is set up, new. You could not create a physical, tangible rift between two dimension versions of the same Earth, if that makes sense. There's actually a lot of entities out there that would seriously prevent that on all levels. Well, if you're talking about the Goetia, yeah, a lot of spirits don't. If you actually look at the translations for the evocations, not invocations, there is a difference. And the evocations in Solomonic magic, they're threats. You are threatening them. I'll be honest, I'm Southern. I love to go to people's house and have dinner, especially if they're good cooks. But if you threaten me, I'm going to dig my heels in. I ain't coming to dinner. And even if my mama drags me there by my ears, I am going to be unruly as hell. I will not behave. I do not take well to being threatened. Neither do spirits. It's the same exact thing. And it's based upon the mentality and the premise in which the book was penned. And again, there is no evidence that the Goetia is as old as Solomon himself. Most people actually believe that whenever it was actually penned, um, it was given the name of Solomon in order to give it credibility. And it was penned in a method that was church friendly. So the spirits are definitely not fond of being threatened. I mean, would you be? I mean, I honestly don't feel any fear when someone threatens me. It has been many years before anybody has been able to threaten me in any way that scares me. Uh, in fact, the last 5 people who threatened me, I kind of laughed at them. But even if I'm laughing at you, I'm not going to be a pleasant person if that's how you want to start a conversation. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're starting a conversation with these entities. So, yeah, in that framework, the spirits aren't exactly enjoyable of it because you're not treating them with respect from the start. I do know a lot of Solomonic practitioners that get good results. But I also know a lot of practitioners who find they get far better results if they don't use the Solomonic versions. So there's that. But as to how do you evoke, again, evoke and invoke are different. Make sure you understand the difference and make sure you're doing the one that you actually intend to do. Because evoke is the external communication that is talked about within the Goetia. Invoke, you're actually pulling the energy and the entity into you and is a mild form of possession and can leave pretty well, anytime you do invocation, there's going to be a change and shift to your energy work. We actually did a video on the differences between evocation and invocation. Go check that out. But you're going to need to find a system and a method that works for you. And there are different systems and methods. And we did a few videos here on how to contact an entity and did a very, very light invocation or evocation. Sorry, I'm sitting here looking at the chat log, so I see the word. We did a light evocation of Freya in that one. So there is no singular one ritual or way to do it. There's a lot of ways to get it done. No, I just fried it energetically, Lexidus. I just energetically fried it. It happens. I fry computers on the regular. I really do. In fact, you hand me an iPhone. If an iPhone is within a foot of me for any more than 5 minutes, it'll quit working. And if you hand your phone to me, if it's an iPhone, when you get it back, it won't work. I cannot own an Apple product. Their circuitry and everything's too fragile. Give you a match. Yeah, those dry erase boards are kind of come in handy. Oh, you're talking about the little red, the etch a sketch things? Is that what you're talking about? That'd probably be what I need, Luna. I ain't even wrong. You are not even wrong. But luckily, I have found certain brands or whatnot tend to hold up and last longer around me. And I try to stick to those kinds of things. That way, I do get some time out of my devices and whatnots. Many of you know I recently fried our TV and our microwave within the same month, actually. Still have not replaced the microwave. So there's that. But it's just one of those things. You see it more and more as the practitioner grows and they start getting more skill and ability. As the practitioner grows, their skill and ability, and they work with energy, their energy body tends to grow and solidify and become more potent over time as well. So you see this problem manifest, and actually many people in the Discord server who's been practicing or been with us, well, some of you've been with us since the beginning almost. They're already seeing a point in their growth where they're starting to see some technological issues. One of our admin actually in the Discord prefers Apple devices, and in the last, I think it's 4 or 5 months, her devices have been short circuiting, going haywire more than they ever have in her entire time using them. And she's pretty sure it's because of her practice is actually growing and escalating considerably quicker, which is kind of cool, but sucky because, yeah, that means she might have to gravitate over. And it does suck when you lose a preferred platform. Do you think digital immortality is possible? No, I don't. A digitation of you would be a program of you. You cannot sustain a soul or existence in a digital form. You can only sustain a recording. Your soul would not actually bind itself to that. There's a lot of reasons the soul cannot be bound digitally. So that a digital form of immortality would not be immortality. It would be nothing more than a program that would at best have your memories and thought processes. Even if it could learn, it's not a soul. And if it's not a soul, it's not you. Yeah, see, I'm like your bio mother. I get around technology, it just breaks. That's that's why it's such an ironic thing that I had to move everything into an online platform. So me and my wife continually laugh at the fact that I have had to go to YouTube. We set up the online school and all this because the irony between my relationship with technology and the way that I've had to present this information is just laughable. Um, and it has given us a lot of hurdles. Many of you know I fry microphones and stuff all the time. Luckily, there's so many wonderful supporters of this channel through Super Chat, channel memberships, and Patreon that I've not really had an issue keeping the mics and everything up and running if I screw them up. And I appreciate that. I drastically do appreciate your all support of that. But yeah, I do the same thing, Valen. Uh, Boogie. Yeah, you can do it any time of day. I mean, there are people who use astrological or solar times in order to do different things, but you can do it any time of day. Some people just have a preference for different times of day. They find it easier. For me, I generally prefer like 8 to noon or 8 to midnight are my general preferred ones. And I'll be honest, it has nothing to do with Magick at all why I prefer those times. It's just in my neighborhood, that's when people are being quiet. That's when it's the quietest around here. So, and I prefer to work when I can have some semblance of quiet, preferably if I can. But if I need to do a ritual and it's 2 or 3 o'clock and I got kids screaming on all sides of me, people bouncing basketballs off the sidewalk, skateboarders going up and down, I'm still going to do my evocation. Noise or no noise, I got work to do. The only thing that I attempt to work around noise, and many of you already know this, it's the filming. My microphone picks up every little thing, so I try to film when it's as quiet as possible. Between kids and jet noise, y'all know I got some trouble. And that freaking ice cream man. God, he picks the weirdest times to come through here. And also, I've had experience with spirits coming, but later than expect. Yeah, they're not just going to come. You may be in there. You may be doing the calling for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I know some spirits, just to be a dick, will wait and see if you'll keep it up for 30 minutes. And part of that's to test your discipline and your focus. Again, if you're not disciplined and focused, the spirits have no reason to waste their time. Um, and how often can you change the spirit you work with? As often as you want. I've evoked 10 different spirits in the same day, and done 10 different workings with them. So I continually work with spirits of varying purposes constantly. Some of them I'll do a one shot working where I know I need this thing. I know I have a spirit. I've worked with them before. I know they're reliable. I will evoke them. I'll tell them what's going on. I'll check, say, hi, I'm Southern. I'm going to be talkative about it. But then I get to the point of the evocation. I get their advice on the issue, and we both part ways, but set forth into motion to get whatever that goal may be done. And I don't worry about it because I know they're reliable. Then there's entities and spirits that I work with almost daily. But yeah, you can work with however many you want. The only exception to this, Boogie, is if you sit down and you're asking for help, and the spirit says, okay, we are going to have to take 7 days to work through this issue or a month to work through this issue, and I'm going to be there. And I need you to evoke me X amount of times. Maybe it's daily, maybe it's twice a week, something like that, in order for me to help you get through this. Okay, you need to be doing that. And if you don't do that, don't blame the spirit for not helping you when you didn't do your part. When you didn't do what was advised to be done, and working with a spirit doesn't hurt anyone. Also, a spirit will not ask you for any form of sacrifice or bullshit like that. Um, so if you think the spirit's asking for that, I'd check yourself seriously, because the spirits won't ask. They will not. They will not ask you to harm another. That is, again, Hollywood bullshit. Time check. Thank you, Bernaldus. Yes, we are running a little time. How do they communicate? Well, they communicate in many different ways, but you will need to develop your arcane senses, in which we have a video on, Boogie. Go check that out. You will need to develop your arcane senses in order to have a real-time conversation with these entities. And if you are working with entities through evocation, you need to develop your arcane senses and not get lazy and use some other means. There's a lot of people who, instead of mastering themselves and their arcane senses, they get lazy. They want to use pendulums, tarot cards, or some other medium that does not allow a real time conversation for clarification. And then they wonder why things didn't work out the way they should seem. If you can't have a clear and concise communication with an entity, you should easily expect miscommunications. I mean, seriously, how many miscommunications even happen over text? And you think a pendulum's going to clear that up? No. That's why I do not do business by text. If I can't see you and talk to you, at least talk to you verbally, it ain't happening. So you will need to develop your arcane senses, which we do have a video on that. And there is a class over at workingdragonmystic.com for arcane sight that is free. That's how important the arcane senses are. And it's also one of those where it can easily be adapted. The same exercises in that can be adapted to arcane hearing and all the other arcane senses as well. Lexidus, thank you. Skip. Let's see here. Hey Drake, when you do an evocation, can a spirit pretend to be the one you're trying to evoke? Not invoke, evoke. If so, what do you do? Okay, first off, if you set your ritual space with a setup ritual, for example, the Dragon's Flame ritual, I know for a fact that one, if a spirit is pretending, it can't enter the space. Secondly, if you're calling on an entity of any power, like, well, any of the Goetic spirits is a perfect example, or a deity, Azazel, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Shamyaza, any of these entities, these entities they're going to severely lash out to anyone trying to pretend to be them. It's as easy as that. That's one reason I do like to actually set up anytime the first time I ever evoke and reach out to a spirit for the first time. I always use the Dragon's Flame ritual or a similar ritual to it just to make sure the space is set so I know I'm getting the one I'm contacting and reaching out to. That's pretty simple. You can also ask for a second entity that you trust's evaluation of it if you wanted to. But as long as you got that ritual in place, you should be good to go. And the pretender thing, that's not as common as you think. The only entities that actually pretend to be another entity is human spirits. Human spirits will try to pretend and be something bigger than they are because humans are just petty. But at the same time, if a human spirit was to pretend to be, I don't know, Odin, that spirit's going to have a very, very, very bad day after that. Because pretending to be Odin, to verbalize Odin's name, his eye will see it. And the moment he sees it, and the moment he sees a pretender, unless he's entertained by it for some reason, even if he's entertained by it actually afterwards, that entity will get their comeuppance. And the same would go for any other entity of significant power. So there you go. All right, everyone, we are past our hour. I'm going to hop off here and get ready to kick into gear for the weekend. Got a couple rest days from the workouts and stuff coming up I got to get done. But it's still going to be a busy weekend. Got plenty of stuff to get done through here, as well as hopefully some reading. Man, I'm backed up on reading. I really got to get me some more reading. Leisure reading too. I do plenty of research reading. But you have a fantastic weekend. Try to stay safe. For those who know what I'm talking about, this weekend, tomorrow is the 11th. I will be taking time out to remember those who passed, those who gave everything. But whether you do that or not, do try to at least maybe tip your hat. Just be respectful of the day and those who are remembering it. Last year, I saw someone who was just doing something respectful in their backyard, and someone threw paint over the fence. Don't be a douche like that, please. I know we all have different viewpoints, but if someone's trying to do something and respect someone that they care for, or honor someone's sacrifice, or remember someone's memory, never be disrespectful to that. Never. Okay? Boogie, thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate it. The super chat. Appreciate it much, Boogie. All right, everyone. You have a great weekend. I'll see you Sunday for the Magical Coffee Hour. Take care and good night. Bye-bye.